If you have ever watched a video on YouTube and read the comments, you have probably seen some trolls in the comments claiming that Earth is flat. Recently I have been seeing more and more of them, and whenever people try to argue with them, they continue to deny reality and keep pushing misinformation. Today we are doing something different. I will be explaining who these trolls actually are and why they exist. I will not be debunking a flat Earth because there is no need. It debunks itself. Instead, I will be talking about the psychological strategies used by flat earthers and how this idea is somehow expanding. I usually do these videos on video games, but these YouTube conspiracy theorists have gotten out of hand and need to be addressed. Welcome to SF Theory. I know I said I would not be debunking flat earthers because there is no need. But first I need to explain why there is no need. People who believe that Earth is flat claim that they know science and how it works. However, they cannot explain some simple observable things. Take a look at our moon. Notice how every night when it is visible, you see the same side. If you were to travel to the opposite hemisphere you are currently in, the moon would appear upside down, at least partially. But you can still see the exact same side. No matter where you go, the moon looks exactly the same. The reason why this is because the moon is tidally locked to Earth, which means it completes one rotation in the same time it completes one revolution. On a flat Earth, this is impossible, no matter the shape of the moon. If three people stand in different countries where the moon is visible, you would see a different side of the moon in each location, even if it is flat as you can see here. Another example is the visible stars you can see while facing south. If one person stands in Argentina, another in South Africa, and another in Australia, all three people can see the same stars while facing south. On a flat Earth, these people will be looking in three different directions, so it would be impossible to see the same stars. These are simple observable facts that irrefutably prove that Earth is a sphere. No science needed. And the flat earthers continue to fail to create a working flat Earth model. So how could these people who claim to use the scientific method actually believe that Earth is flat? They can't, but others who hear the things that they choose to include on YouTube can. According to the poll that you can see here, you can clearly see that only 66%, 2/3, of the younger population believe that Earth is a sphere. I'm sure many of these people are trolls who said this as a joke, but still. This in itself seems confusing, but when you look at this poll you can clearly see that out of these 66%, some of them may only believe that Earth is a sphere, and not 100% know. From these proofs I just explained, I can assure you I don't believe Earth is a sphere. I know it is. The question is how many others do. Especially in students, people do not always choose to fully educate themselves and do exactly what flat earthers claim to be happening. They hear what their teachers tell them, and the governments tell them, and they learn to repeat it exactly as they hear it on a test. It can be easily proven that people do not always independently think and learn about subjects that they are not interested in. The reason I said especially students is because from my own experiences, I can tell you many students don't care about school and hate it. People like this won't do their own research or use logic to try to explain how things happened or why things are. Out of the 66% of people on that poll, most likely only a small percentage of those people actually know Earth is a sphere. This is why independently thinking and doing research is important, because these people who only believe Earth is a sphere and don't know for sure are the people who are susceptible to conspiracy theories like the flat Earth. If you have ever watched a flat Earth video, you probably know that they claim that the government and schools are lying to you, and how they are going to explain the truth. In people who only believe the Earth is a sphere, they will be interested, as all of their knowledge has come from the government and schools telling them how things are, and not from their own observations. This is a psychological strategy that works because when these people are told that everything they know is a lie, they are more likely to listen and pay attention. And when a flat earther conducts a flawed experiment and twists it to explain how Earth is flat, people start to realize that they actually might be right. especially when flat earthers try to explain things using big words like electromagnetism and refraction to explain things completely unrelated to them. In most cases, people with even a simple concept of physics will understand how flat earthers twist the electromagnetic force. In many cases, they actually use electromagnetism to explain gravity, which is its own separate force. However, they can believe in electromagnetism, which is science, and they don't believe in gravity, which is also science. For people who do not understand the forces or how they interact with the universe, it is easy for them to believe these flat earthers, and in some cases begin to recreate the flawed experiments that they claim prove the earth is flat. Either way, these people can eventually become flat earthers and spread what they believe on social media. This is how the idea of the flat earth spreads. These people are also the reason why it is called the Gateway Conspiracy, as it makes people more likely to become involved with other conspiracy theories that can be easily proven false. So if this is how people become flat earthers, where did the people from the top come from, like the Flat Earth Society, or religious extremists? Earth was proven to be a sphere by Eratosthenes, a Greek scientist in 240 BC. He also was able to measure the circumference of it. This was further spread by other Greek scientists like Aristotle. Throughout the entire Middle Ages and modern history in the Western world, Earth was known to be a sphere. And if your teachers told you Christopher Columbus was trying to prove Earth is a sphere, then they are completely wrong, because people in Europe already knew this during that time period. It wasn't until 1838 when the idea of a flat Earth started again, by a guy who went by the name Parallax. Parallax believed Earth was flat, so he did an experiment in a canal with a boat. He said based on the circumference of Earth, he should not be able to see the boat if it is 6 miles away. So he put the boat in the canal 6 miles away, and sure enough, he could see it. This is because the experiment was flawed. He was at a higher elevation than the boat, and he did not take into account the refraction caused by Earth's atmosphere, which would allow him to see further than he would if Earth did not have an atmosphere. During this time, there were many developments in science, and religious extremists, like creationists, saw this as a way to escape science, which was contradicting their religion. More recently, with the internet coming into existence, flat earthers began to spread again. People who did not trust what they were being told and people who did not learn from their own observations could easily get tricked into falling for these people. YouTube was created and groups like the Flat Earth Society began their plans of deception. The Flat Earth Society, as well as many YouTubers like Globebusters, know well that the Earth is a sphere. That's why they never show a fully complete flat Earth model, because it's impossible for one to exist. They say the sky can't prove the shape of the ground you're standing on, because it can easily prove Earth is a sphere. They know this, so why do they continue? The reality is that these people are using these psychological strategies and are failing to use real science to prove anything so they can make people fall into this cult. People hear from them that everything they know is a lie and become interested in what they have to say. Eventually they start to believe them, until some of them become dedicated enough to donate to them. This is why the entire conspiracy exists. Con artists are tricking those who have not educated themselves. Here's the pyramid of what I am explaining. At the top you have con groups like the Flat Earth Society and YouTubers like Globebusters, as well as extremist churches. These people know Earth is a sphere, however they spread lies for their own personal gain. On the second level you have the people in the middle, who have been persuaded by the people at the top to believe that Earth is flat, and spread misinformation because of it. These are your YouTubers who actually believe this, and ministers and other religious leaders that follow the extremist churches at the top. On the bottom are the general flat earthers. People who watch the videos of these YouTubers, look at flat earth proof, and members of these extremist churches that just repeat what they say because that's what they're told to do. On the side there are two arrows. The one pointing down shows how misinformation spreads from one level to another. For example, people at the top say water finds its own level, or the Bible says Earth is flat. The people in the middle try to test this and say that they agree, and the people at the bottom blindly repeat this. The other arrow shows how the misinformation coming down the pyramid leads to money going up the pyramid. Ultimately, the con artists at the top get rich by spreading misinformation and expanding their cult. But hey, that's just a theory. A theory about something that can be applied to real life instead of just video games. This was definitely different from the videos I have made from the past, and it took a long time to make. So if you enjoy these videos and would like me to make more, make sure to leave a comment and like and subscribe. By simply liking and subscribing, you show your support for these kinds of videos and I will continue to make them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next SF Theory.